I'm Trish Power Scott.
And I'm Lynn Loria.
Welcome to Two Cents of Sunshine. We have our special guest who did amazing on our last podcast and everybody loved her, so we welcomed her back. And we might just legitimately have to make this 3 cents of sunshine. But welcome back, Sam Golmolka. And today is all about probably my favorite topic ever, if you know me, and everybody calls me to talk about it. Peptides. And Sam is, I'd say, a peptide specialist. I mean, not by any kind of degree, but, you know, in my world, you are. So
I hear you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And I know
Nothing.
about peptides. So I love that we're here for this show because I get to learn so much from you, as usual.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
for having me. Yeah,
Thanks for coming back.
happy to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so peptides is a revolutionary thing happening right now. There are certification programs. So I went through A4M to get certified in peptides.
Oh, you really did.
Okay.
You really are a
And
specialist.
Peptides too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Obese management to understand how to prescribe and dose GLP medications. And it is a excellent adjunct to conventional medicine to help promote wellness.
Yeah.
And health optimization.
I mean, I think that's like the first questions everybody's going to ask is about the GLPs. And I get asked that all the time being in the fitness industry. What's my opinion on it? And my take is that as long as you're using it as a tool and not a Band-Aid, I'm all for it, right? Like you have something to help you along and get your results quicker. And this is not typical medication, right? So it's not, being processed through your kidneys and your liver and all those things. It's amino acids, which your body's already composed of, right? So what happens when you take too much? I've always wondered that. I was under the impression if you take too much in amino acid form, you just pee it out. Is that
Can
true?
I ask one question before that one?
Yeah.
Just to go, and can you just define what a peptide is? And
So,
maybe
a peptide is a sequence of amino acids less than 50. So more than 50, you actually have a protein. Less than 50, it's a peptide. So
Interesting.
okay.
a chain of amino acids. Now, the body makes over 350,000 natural peptides. And so the ones that are on the market today are sequences, whether it's bioidentical or synthetic sequences of those amino acid chains.
Oh, interesting. So not all peptides are created equal.
No. And honestly, peptides are something that should be respected because they can have serious effects on the body. So
Yeah.
in regards to the GLP medications, my opinion of it is that it is an amazing medication. It is a tool to help reset metabolic function, but in inexperienced hands can be quite dangerous.
Right.
So the GLP medications, most people know GLP-1s would be semaglutide. Then you have GLP-2 if you want
Tirzepatide. Yep.
tirzepatide or Mounjaro. And then the newest one on the scene, which is retatrutide, it hits 3 receptors. So it hits the GLP, the GIP, and also the glucagon receptors.
Right. So with the peptide, is it the same as the medication? So if someone goes online and they buy it off a site, like any, because you can get peptides anywhere. And I think it's really important too that we mention you should not go on any peptide website that you see that has like a sale or it's Black Friday's coming and there's all these peptides that are going to have all these sales. You should not go on a website that you don't know anything about and then buy a medication that you're going to inject into your body. Like that is not what we are standing for at all, right? Like that's dangerous. And also I've recently learned that you can take something, like say you order something from a website and you don't know anything about it, and you're fine and you've taken it and it's fine. And you've taken it for 6 months. You can get one batch that is not properly done, or they don't test it to 99 to 100% efficacy, and you could have anaphylactic shock from it. So it's just because you've taken it and you've done fine, it doesn't mean that it won't be fine in the future. So I think that's really important to mention out of the gate. Make sure you're going to something that's reputable. And I think that one of the biggest things is knowing where they're coming from. Are they actual labs, and what is their efficacy rate, or under the influence of a doctor or a specialist? I think that's super important.
And that is a lot because a layman or someone who does not know and as much would just say, oh, okay, it's a GLP. This is the weight loss,
Everybody's doing it.
And it's online and I can get it, oh my gosh, for $300 for as much as I want a month. And instead of going and paying, at the doctor's, my insurance, it's like $900 a month for Ozempic. And I hear so many different stories of so many different products, but I don't feel like just ordinary people know that there is a difference. So that's such a great point, Trish. What are the side effects? And maybe you want to go into that after, but what would someone be watching for that they're taking too much or that they're misappropriated as far as the dose?
I mean, if we're talking about GLP medications specifically, an increased dose or a dose that you're not ready for, you could have intractable vomiting. typically the side effects are GI in nature. So nausea, vomiting. Some people get constipation, other people get diarrhea, loss of appetite. More serious side effects could be risk of pancreatitis. If you're not monitoring weight loss appropriately, it puts you at risk for gallbladder issues. So very serious side effects could occur for an inexperienced person using a GLP medication.
And I know I've had not me personally having this experience, but someone close to me has had an experience where they take it, and every single time they take it, they get super sick. So no matter what, they just cannot take this medication. And that is something I think is just specific to each person. And he just vomits nonstop for days as soon as he takes it. Yeah, and it's not, like that's not, and it's the teeniest, tiniest dose. So it's not like they're even overdoing it. And I think it's just really important to know that everybody is different. Not everybody can take everything, and you're going to react differently. And the semaglutide versus the tirzepatide versus the retatrutide, even though they're all GLPs, completely react different in your body too. So maybe one works and the other doesn't, and vice versa. I do know that semaglutide seems to have more nausea side effects, and throwing up side effects
Than the others?
than the others.
That's interesting.
Yeah, tirzepatide and retatrutide are more known to have less of that, the nausea and the throwing up.
Well, because the medications evolved from
Yeah.
the first edition. And there was even medications prior to semaglutide that are older. But semaglutide, when it was FDA approved, that has become kind of the namesake of the GLP weight loss. As they evolve, they're hitting different receptors. So you have the GIP along with the GLP and tirzepatide, which increase the amount of body percent that you could lose of fat. And the retatrutide, which is in phase 3 trials right now, has very promising indications for increased weight loss, 20 to 24% of total body fat loss at the 12 milligram dose, which is a very high dose. But it also helps to preserve lean muscle mass than the other generations of GLP. And there's an indication for NASH patients or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. When it becomes inflammatory, it turns into NASH. And that is actually going to be one of the main indicators for a liver transplant coming up, because
Really?
yeah, it used to be hepatitis C. Back in like 2016, Boney changed the scene, and now we can treat hepatitis C not with ease, but a lot easier than we could when we were using interferon. So now the second one is that fatty liver disease when it becomes inflammatory and you get into a cirrhosis picture.
It's wild. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the things that they're coming out and saying after all this research of the GLPs coming out, originally they were just used for weight loss, and that was it, right? And that was like the thought process. But now they're saying, oh, it's actually helping down the road. Was it with Alzheimer's or dementia?
Alzheimer's, dementia.
Yes. Disease. Yeah. All these things. So, and I personally, again, from experience of others, not personally, but I have found that people that had not just overeating issues, but drinking, alcohol issues, or,
Addiction.
addiction in general. Yes. Because it's not even necessarily about food.
Yeah.
It's curbing that for them. And it's amazing. It's amazing what it's doing to the mental. And I think it's because it works inside of your mental. Like people talk all the time about food noise. It turns off that food noise. Well, it's actually just that part of your brain, right, that creates that addiction. So if you're turning it off, you're not just turning off food noise, you're turning off all the other things too.
That's a great point, because I've heard the same thing. So I don't know if you can talk about that, but is it working on different chemicals in the brain or receptors in the brain that would work on addiction as a whole? Or
so if you're getting into different indications, so that would definitely be something that would need to be closely supervised. Certainly, we're not advocating for people to buy GLP medications, free sites, and then using them to treat an addiction situation. It does have the side effect of calming that food noise, dampens that reward center, so you're not getting that emotional
gratification.
with food or alcohol.
Okay.
And it's not, if it's dosed appropriately, you should still have an adequate appetite. Starvation is never a diet plan.
No.
But it also will curb that I'm thinking about ice cream all day, or I just need to have that reward center.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it is for me, especially, I work out a lot. We all know I work out a lot. And for me, it's when I work hard or I run specifically, I just want to eat all day. I mean, I just literally think about eating all day long. And it's like, I'm just so hungry. And I think that would be very nice to shut that off and just be like, okay, I can go 5 minutes without stuffing my face. But since we are 2 cents of sunshine, I just want to remind you guys of something. We're all about positivity and that relationship between mental wellness and exercise and all the things. So I think that when people hear of other people being on a GLP, they kind of get a negative connotation about it. And I think we need to get past that. I think that we need to be supportive and realize that everybody's in a different space and that we're using these as tools and we're helping each other get healthy and mentally well. So
Such a good point.
let's clap at our finish lines. Okay. So we're clapping for others at the finish line. And then when you get there too, no matter whether it's on a GLP or not, or whatever that may be, people will clap for you too. I think it's just really important to have that support.
I agree.
No matter what someone's doing. I find people come to me and they look great and I say something, you look amazing. And they're coming to my class or I see them at the gym and then they kind of cower almost because they don't want to tell me that they are on a GLP. And then when they do, I'm like, good for you. I'm happy for you. And they kind of breathe that sigh of relief. Nobody should feel that way. So don't be the joy sucker.
And same thing. I say it because to me, what they're, and I could be completely off here, but they're making the, what did you call it? Not chemicals, but would you say the receptors? That of what our minds are supposed
to be.
Right? So if they're getting it, is it something?
Well, we haven't even talked about
I know
what the chemical changes
so
that happen.
Yeah.
GLP medications are such an incredible tool if you have leptin resistance or if you have an insulin resistance. It's fixing something that is chemically off in the body. And I think that's why it's such a powerful medication. It is a tool. So GLP medications are not to be used without adequate protein intake, tracking macros. When I prescribe it for my patients, I'm doing a GPS protocol. So I am providing you a GLP. I am having expectations of your protein intake. And you will also be doing strength training because we are preserving that lean
building muscle.
We are doing body composition scans. I am doing weekly weight loss check-ins. The ideal weight loss would be between 0.5 to 1 pound a week. Anything over that, I'm starting to worry about loss of lean muscle mass. Anything above 3 pounds a week, I'm starting to worry about your gallbladder. So I think my background in GI has only helped in this specific area because it gives me the foundation of what could go wrong, what to look for. But to have a patient who knows how to eat properly, who knows what to do in the gym, and their body is betraying them in a sense that nothing they're doing is working anymore, whether that is secondary to perimenopause and they have midlife weight gain, if that is due to history of some kind of drugs that made them gain weight, SSRIs or different medication classes. This medication helps them as a tool to do the work to get back to themselves.
Right. I do have a question about the average weight loss. So we had a question come in about someone had taken it and they lost 7 pounds in their very first week of taking it. Do you think that because it's an anti-inflammatory, it's a strong anti-inflammatory, do you think that in that first week or, of course you're going to lose more out of the gate, always up front, right?
Water weight.
Yeah. Could it be that was water weight and that was inflammation and we don't have to worry about it so much? Or do you really think a 7-pound weight loss in 1 week, we're just too high on our dose and that's not acceptable?
So there's a few things to do. One, I would certainly look at what that initial dose was and then possibly just cut it in half for a week or two to
See how
really assess how are they reacting. Is that something that they're reproducing the second week? Was it water weight? What is the diet doing? What is their activity level? But certainly monitoring them closer. I don't like patients weighing themselves every single day. I like to do typically once a week or on injection days so that I can get a good idea. Value. Because if you start following the scale, it's up 2 pounds one day, you're down 1 pound. It'll drive you crazy.
In period week and women, right? Like for me, I legit gain 5 pounds every day, every time I retain water. So it's part of it. I could tell my ankles swell. It's ridiculous. But so that's not a real indication, right, of weight gain. But I just feel like I find it hard to believe anybody's losing 7 pounds of fat per week, right? Like that's really unrealistic. And I would think especially in the first week of that anti-inflammatory, they are losing a ton of water weight and inflammation.
I agree.
Certainly that could, but I think that with that medication and just starting that it does warrant closer monitoring and an initial dose adjustment. And if they don't lose the second week, the third week,
then you start to creep it back up.
Then we can talk about what the dose is.
So, okay. Overall, GLPs are great. We support them. It's, a great tool. And let's be nice about them to others.
Yes.
And this is just such a small part of peptides. So I want to move on to the next because this is just one. I mean, there are a bazillion. Literally, almost every problem you have, there's a peptide for. I mean, really, it's amazing.
I'm learning new stuff.
Yes. I did not know.
GLP is just the last part on GLP.
GLPs were peptides. I have no clue that's
emerging research that shows that GLPs could become standard of care down the road for breast cancer patients. It increases survivability, ovarian cancer. There's a research study that came out about colon cancer. So addressing metabolic inflammation is proving to be beneficial across the board.
Mhm. And that's not a GLPs. That's for the GLP peptides. Okay.
But yeah, there's a gajillion
Interesting.
peptides. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting.
I think that we did a great job going over the GLPs today, although that wasn't our intention to spend
We
the
never know what
entire-
we're going to
We
get.
talk about.
It's just so much fun.
It is.
Yeah. Just never know. And it's our girl time.
Yeah.
Our girl chat.
So we got the GLPs out of the way. We're going to give you a next show where you come back one more time for us because we've run out of time.
Will you come back
Every day.
ever? Forever and ever? Be our
I think you
bestie?
should comment and tell us how much you love
Yeah.
Sam and tell her to join the gang.
And we can be in 3 cents of sunshine.
Yes.
So some of the cute little name with
We can
cute
make up a new
shoes,
one.
because she's always wearing cute
Yeah.
shoes.
If we did 90,
Oh my
if
God.
I can't wear
You gotta wear
heels on
fancy
a
shoes.
Wednesday, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about
We'd love to answer your GLP questions. If you have any, certainly put them in the comments. If you have anything to say about our show, we'd love to hear it. Put it in our comments. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We will see you next time with more talk on peptides.